As we get closer and closer to draft day, the more boards change, but the players, for the most part, stay the same. Starting off here, we have the Carolina Panthers at 1. Analysts and myself included have gone through a loop trying to figure out which quarterback they're going to take, but we haven't landed on one yet. I mean, we've seen CJ Stroud, for the most part, be that guy because Frank Reich loves his accurate passers. We've seen Anthony Richardson because he reminds us of Cam Newton a little bit. And the Panthers had Cam Newton, I guess. That makes sense. And then I've also seen Bryce Young. And I think that's the direction I'm be heading in. The only reason Bryce Young isn't number 1 in every single mock draft is because of his size. And I really think the Panthers can take advantage of that and use it to their advantage. And I think this is a really good pick for them. Okay, so the Houston Texans are on the clock. That was kind of their guy. Most people had Bryce Young going at 2 to the Texans if he didn't go at 1. And I've heard rumors around the league that they aren't convinced that the Texans are even going to take a quarterback. D'Amico Ryan's obviously new coach there, big defensive guy. And he did have a comment earlier in the offseason about filling out the assets and that being super important. But I think that's cap. I think that's a lie, and I think they will take a quarterback. But which one? Well, I think CJ Stroud's their guy. I think Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are 1 and 2 in most people's drafts. Like, you can flip-flop them. And I will continue that trend. So CJ Stroud is a Houston Texan in this scenario. Arizona Cardinals, this is the number 1 trade spot, and I think there probably will be a trade. But it's a great opportunity for Arizona to get an elite defensive player. Obviously, they don't need quarterbacks. They have Kyler Murray, who will be back eventually. Like a month or 2 into the season? It should be a significant amount of time for a quarterback, but as long as he's healthy, they paid him so much money. Yeah, I think this is a good trade spot. Maybe for the... I think the Colts, to secure their quarterback, might trade up 1. But PFF wants to make me pay for PFF Plus, and I'm not going to do that. So we're going to pretend that the Cardinals will just take Will Anderson. Best player on the board, not named Jalen Carter. Obviously, he's going to slip a little bit because of the incidents being unknown and character concerns. But I don't think it's going to be too bad, and you'll see in a second here why. Indianapolis Colts, I think it'll probably be quarterback. I could see Richardson or Levis going. I don't see anything else other than that, though. So I'm going to go ahead and let's take Anthony Richardson. I think that's more fun. Will Levis is that he just feels like a Colt in a way. Obviously, Southern school, going up to the Midwest, kind of similar environment. But I think that Anthony Richardson provides a lot more in the long term. Obviously, the Colts aren't in any position to win now anyways, and Anthony Richardson is that perfect quarterback for that situation of being good later. And with their new coach, Shane Steichen, who did a great job with Jalen Hurts' development, he could do a phenomenal job here as well. Speaking about Jalen Carter earlier, I said I'd get back to him in a second. Here he is. I have him going to Seattle. There's a lot of people saying that Seattle wouldn't take him because their locker room is about high-character guys, but I don't think that's true. We've seen in the past take guys like Malik McDowell who haven't had the best pre-draft evaluating things about character, and I think that'll stay the same. Obviously, Pete Carroll's going to want to win now. He's getting older. He doesn't know how long he has left, maybe a few years at most. And I think Jalen Carter's a guy who can make that instant impact. And I think most people would agree. I mean, we were saying he might be the number 1 pick not that long ago when Chicago had it before the things got out about him. Detroit. This is an interesting spot again because I always go corner with Detroit or pass rusher. And depending who's on the board. So since Chicago traded down before, I'd usually have Tyree Wilson go at 5 and Jalen Carter at 1. But now that the Bears are out of it and we have an extra quarterback going, I think Tyree Wilson might be the move here. They might have PTSD from taking Jeff Okudah really high And taking another corner high may not be Dan Campbell's thing, even though they desperately need it. But they also need edge. So this might help. Tyree Wilson, Aiden Hutchinson, dynamic duo. See what happens. He's a low floor, high ceiling kind of guy, and he could be the best player in this draft when it's all said and done. But he needs the right development. And I think Dan Campbell might be able to get that out of him, especially with the environment of the Detroit Lions really taking a big step these past couple of years. Las Vegas, Will Levis, no question about it. I've had Skoronski go here a lot, but if the quarterback's here, they're definitely going to take him. No way that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be their future. I mean, obviously not, but if a top 3 quarterback in this draft on most people's boards, I feel like he's top 3, top 4, you take him. You take him at 7. It's a pretty good spot, and I think he could do well there. We'll see how long it lasts. Obviously, taking quarterbacks in the top 10 is never a sure thing, especially early on. But yeah, we'll see. Falcons, I've had Tyree Wilson go here. I've had Skoronski go here. I've had Quentin Johnston go here. I have no idea what to do here. I think I may go. Let's go with my guy, Paris Johnson. I think he's the best tackle in the draft. I know a lot of people like Broderick Jones, who got a lot of hype, but I think Paris Johnson will go first. He'll be the first offensive tackle off the board because he's just so solid and has a high ceiling, high floor. He just has everything you need in a tackle. And the Falcons really need that. They don't have a lot of talent on their team as a whole. They signed Jesse Bates, so they're good there. They have a couple of interesting pieces like AJ Terrell, but that's kind of it. They don't really have a quarterback. They're going to see what they have in Desmond Ridder. That's why I don't really have them reaching for anyone. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. Bears, amazing trade back from 1. And I think they could really go in a number of directions here. They could take anyone. But if I were Chicago, I would probably take Lucas Van Ness or Peter Skoronski. It could be either. I think I'm going to go with Skoronski. Shoring up the offensive line for Justin Fields is going to be huge. His O-line last year was so bad, and it honestly prevented him from making better plays with his arm. Although it did boost the potential with his legs. But if he had a better tackle, better O-line as a whole, he could have done a lot more, and they're hoping he takes that third-year leap, which this will help a lot. Hopefully. Eagles, the Saints, the fantastic trade last year to get a receiver, and now they give the 10th pick. They could have done a lot with this. Good job, Saints. Chris Olave is a good player. All right, Eagles. I've heard a lot of Robinson talk here. I still don't think the Eagles will take a running back top 10. They're not. Howie's not that guy. But I think Witherspoon might be the pick here. They got Darius Slay back. But I think they really need a younger guy there for when he eventually does go. So I'm going to go ahead and take Witherspoon. I could see Christian Gonzalez here. I actually had Gonzalez at 6 a lot. Like, that was consistently 6, but since the QB jump 3 right here, I had him drop a little bit, and I think that Witherspoon's a bit more solid than Gonzalez in the Eagles system. Although it's close, it could be either way. I'm just going to have Witherspoon go at 10, though. Titans, they could be one of the teams that tries to trade up to 3. I've heard some rumors that they've already tried to do that. But, yeah, let's have Tennessee take... I don't know why Quentin Johnston's still up here. I feel like his stock is falling quite a bit. I think they have a lot of young pieces that have a pretty high ceilings. I like Christian Fulton a lot. And I think if Caleb Farley can stay healthy, he'll be good. Don't think he will, but it's something to look out for. And I don't want to take Cansey this high. I think he'll go a little longer. This is a tough pick. I think Lucas Van Ness might be the move here. I would have had them trade up, though, for a quarterback if I could. Let's go Van Ness. Good edge rusher. As I've said before, and a lot of people have said, when he was on the field at Iowa, he was by far the best player. I mean, you could use the eye test, stats, anything. He was the best player. Houston, This is a common spot for Van Ness, so what are they going to do from here? I think they could take Cansey. I know it's a bit weird taking a nose tackle, or I guess it's just someone in the middle this high, but it's so hard to find these guys that are so talented. I mean, look at Chris Jones. There's not a lot of them. Not a lot of Chris Jones, and I think Cansey can be that guy. But, this feels a little early, but you know what? Let's do it, yeah. I mean, defensive coach, defensive player makes sense. Might as well. Quarterback and a defensive tackle. We'll take it. Jets. You know, this pick might be a Green Bay pick. I just don't want to make any trades right now, obviously. I don't want to say anything because you never know. Obviously, Gutekunst is kind of fighting for that number 13 spot, as we've heard. But the Jets don't really want to give up that kind of draft capital for a guy who may be on the team for only 1 year. Let's see. They need tackle bad. But I could see their receiver room's kind of stacked. I think they're fine there. I could see a Christian Gonzalez here. I could see Joey Porter Jr. if they really want to take a guy who's going to be solid right away, a corner. You know what? Let's go with a tackle. I think Broderick Jones might be the pick here. Let's go sort by tackle so I don't keep looking. Yeah, Broderick Jones, really high ceiling guy, super athletic. I think he's the right pick here, but it's the Jets. They go in a lot of random directions, so this could be a Green Bay pick. This could be a receiver. Who knows? Patriots, the most unorthodox drafters ever, maybe ever. Let's see here. They need QB. It's funny. I could see receiver. Gonzalez might be a solid player here. But I want to go ahead and take... I want to take Brian Branch pretty badly. I think he'd fit really well here. Belichick likes a Swiss Army knife player. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. You can play him in a... You can play him in the slot, in the box. You can play him anywhere, and he'll play well. He showed that at Alabama. And that's all I need to know. Packers. This could be their second pick in the first round. It'd be really funny if they took a receiver right after trading Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think they will. They've showed that they won't. Christian Gonzalez. I hate him dropping this far. That might be the pick. I think Kincaid is also a solid pick here, or Mayer. But, I also want to take D-line. You know what? Nolan Smith's here. Miles Murphy's here. I'll take D-line. I think they're a bit more likely to take D-line, pairing up with Rashawn Gary. Let's go with Brian Brzee, tempting. I think Miles Murphy is the pick here. Nolan Smith, I have no idea where he's going to go. We've seen him right after the Combine hype, go 10 to the Eagles. We've seen him go highlight this before, and I think he can. It's just injury history and play time in college. But, yeah, let me see. I think I'm going to go with Miles Murphy. He showed he can be solid every single year. And I think he has the highest floor. Maybe not the highest ceiling, but he has the highest floor for sure. Washington. This feels pretty easy. Joey Porter Jr., they need a corner bad, and he's the most solid guy here. If they think they can win a couple more games than last season, they'll be a playoff team, which is weird to say, but it's true. And, yeah, let's move on to Pittsburgh. A lot of people want Joey Porter Jr. to go there. I don't know if it's going to happen. What I will give them, though, I'm thinking offensive line or corner. I think Gonzalez might be the move here. I just don't like him sliding this far. It's just... Yeah, let's go corner. Christian Gonzalez. I think this could flip-flop. I think Gonzalez could either go here at 16 to Washington, or he could even go way up here at 6 to Detroit. He can go, like, anywhere, but it's kind of hard to say. I don't like... corners in the first round is a bit of a interesting topic because a lot of them don't work out. But when they do, they're really good. Look at Ramsey, Jair Alexander. All right. Detroit, second pick. We have edge, Tyree Wilson. Is quarterback in play? I don't think so. Hendon Hooker's possible. I just don't think that's possible. I've heard he's going to go in the first round, though, which is really weird to me. I feel like that's a dumb decision. But whatever. We'll talk about that later. I have a spot for him for sure. If I was going to go in that direction, a team in the 20s would maybe take a swing at him. 18, I'm going to give them a receiver. I don't want to give them a receiver, no. I think they're fine. They have Jameson Williams coming back. Is Chark back? I forget. He might be gone. But they have Sam Brown. They don't really need to take one in the first round. That's just not something they really need to do. Marvin Jones, I think, is back there, right? Yeah. I don't think he would take a tight end either because we had those two backups and they kind of balled out in the system. Oh, this is hard. D-line is tempting. Some of those early draft picks haven't really worked out outside of Hutchinson. So I think Brzee is a good pick here. The Lions are kind of hard to read. Kind of like, not as hard as the Patriots, but they are hard to read. Considering that their last few draft picks have been outside of Hutchinson and outside of just all of last year. Before that, they've just haven't been that great. So it is a bit worrying when talking about the direction they want to go in. And I think they read that. So they're trying to make the most solid pick. This could be a trade down spot, to be honest. I just don't know who would be trading up for what. Maybe Seattle trades up for a player I'm going to give them in a second here. I think that's the best case scenario if they want to leapfrog the Buccaneers, who might take it. I don't think they would, but they might. Anyways, let's move on to the Bucs here. Quentin Johnston might be the move here. Mike Evans, you never know how long he has left, but oof. They have their Baker Mayfield for the season. I bet he will start. This is tough. I kind of want to give them Darnell Wright, and that might happen, but I think that tight end's fun too. I think they're fine with Brait, though. Let's give them Godwin. Oof. Let's give them Kincaid. He can play really well, kind of like a receiver, not in the same like sense of Kyle Pitts, but he can play. He's a faster tight end. The back injuries are a bit worrying for me. That's why I had him drop a bit further than some people had him, like at Green Bay level. But yeah, I think he's probably the number one tight end in this class. I might put Mayer ahead of him, but based on just what you get out of him, he's probably number one. Seattle. That's what I was talking about when they could trade up a little bit. I doubt it, though, because the guy they want will be here. Hendon Hooker. I hate this pick, but I've heard he could go at 5, which sounds ridiculous to me, but I'll keep him in the first round because a lot of people who are very good with the news have told me that it's likely he'll be a first rounder. So we've had multiple quarterbacks go already. This is crazy. Chargers. Eckler might be traded. He requested it. But I think I want to give them a receiver. Let's give them... Let's give them Jordan Addison. I've seen this a lot before. I might have done it myself too. But Jordan Addison is... he fits kind of their system. He's a speedy guy. They already have a big guy with Keenan Allen. Obviously, he might be cut. I don't know, though. If he was going to be cut, I feel like he already been designated as a post-June 1st. Or a post-June cut. But yeah, I mean, they can go in. They could take a corner. They could take a running back, Robinson. But I think receiver's a bit more of a... It's like a more solid pick. It's value-wise. It's the best pick here for them, outside of maybe tackle or edge. But they don't really need to edge that badly. Well, actually, it was mainly their run game that was terrible. But they could take a Nolan Smith. Anyways, Baltimore time. I think Lamar will stay on the team. They signed Odell Beckham Jr. for a ridiculous amount of money. They're not going to take receiver first round, which is fine. They have Bateman. They're hoping they can get something in OBJ. I'm tempted to give them Nolan Smith, but I think the best move here is probably Banks. Yeah, let's give him Banks. Banks, really athletic, long guy, and they can give him a really good mentor in Marlon Humphrey. That's all I gotta say. I could see Nolan Smith just for the upside itself. Similar reasons to Deontay Banks, the athleticism. But for now, we'll just keep him on the board. Vikings. They have to pay Justin Jefferson pretty soon here. Thielen's no longer on the team. I could see receiver. And I think that might be the move. It's more fun to give them receiver over anything. I know Vikings fans might want to say, oh, we have this guy. But you never know if he's going to pan out, and spending an extra pick on it, especially in, 23, it's pretty low for one of these guys who could have gone top 15 in any other draft. But this draft is so stacked on everything else that it's good value. Let me see. I just don't know who to give them. Do I give them Johnson or JSN? I could see Zay Flowers. I think Josh Downs will slip a bit. He deserves to go in the first round, but I think he might slip a bit. Let's give them Quentin Johnston. He's kind of different than Jefferson in the way that he's a lot bigger and he's got the athleticism, but he's unrefined. He didn't have a ton of production either. So he's kind of I don't want to say he's a developmental guy, but he kind of is. Jaguars. O-line is a necessity, but I think if Nolan Smith was here, they would pass that up to pair him up with his former teammate, Trayvon Walker. So let's do that. Nolan Smith to the Jaguars. I haven't done that before. Giants, I usually go receiver or corner, and I'm going to do receiver this time. Let's give them JSN. I think Zay Flowers is a better pick and maybe even a better receiver. He's number 1 on my board, but I think the Giants want the best guy there. I mean, it could go either way. I don't know what the Giants want, but I think that's probably the pick here. Cowboys. They're a bit confused. I think they could take Robinson if he was here. In this situation, they would. But I also want to give them a receiver. Now, their history has shown that they will take bigger guys. They're not going to take a smaller guy like Zay Flowers, even though they should. If they were going to take any receiver here, I would have bet it's either Josh Downs or Marvin Mims, probably. I don't think Mingo goes up that far, but Marvin Mims is a great player. I think he could be a top 4 receiver in this draft, like right away. But yeah, I mean, they already have an Oklahoma product in CeeDee Lamb. I think this is a good pick, but I'm not going to do that right now because it seems like a bit of a reach. Because if Robinson was there, they'd take him. I'm struggling to because it feels like he won't be there. And Torrance is right here. Let's go with Osiris Torrance. They need a guard or a tackle bad. Obviously, Tyron Smith probably has like 1 year left, maybe half a year, to be honest with you. He gets hurt so much. When he's healthy, is great, but the Cowboys are trying to figure out how to shuffle their O-line. Because they have a young tackle. They don't want to stun his growth because blindside tackles are so hard to find. But they also have a former All-Pro who also played in the blindside who's not great on the right side. So they're kind of confused here. If we get that guard, you have that spot secured. So you can either move Tyler Smith to right or to left tackle. So that's going to be fine. And I think it's a good pick. Torrance could go here. He could go up to... I think the top of where he could go is Pittsburgh probably. But yeah, we'll see. Buffalo needs defensive back. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I feel like, for the most part. Diggs has been a little bit cryptic on Twitter. Nothing new, but I don't think they would take receiver over that. But if Robinson was here, they would not pass on him. I don't think the Chargers or Cowboys would, but it's possible they don't. They do. Running backs obviously been devalued over the past few years, for better or for worse. And if this was 3 years ago, maybe even, I don't want to say 2 years ago, 3-4 years ago, Robinson probably would have gone top 5, top 10. That's how good he is. Bengals. I think that the Bengals could go in a number of directions. They're just trying to get back to the Super Bowl. I mean, as every team is, but they've gotten super close the past couple of years to winning it all. I think that Cincinnati could take tight end is really interesting. Obviously, losing Uzama to the Jets last year kind of hurt a little bit, and they don't really have a full-fledged starter there anymore. So I think Michael Mayer could be a nice player here, but Zay Flowers is also tempting. They should take O-line, but they won't. I know they won't. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give them Michael Mayer. A guy who can block, who can be like your pseudo O-lineman. That's kind of what Michael Mayer is, but he can catch. He had great production at Notre Dame, and I think he's a great fit for the Bengals. Saints, I think I did have them taking Michael Mayer last time, but I don't think they really need it that badly. I was just trying to get a little different. Let's see here. New Orleans. O-line is definitely an issue, but I think defensive line is more valuable. Obviously, they lost Davenport. He got paid a lot, more than I expected too. But yeah, I think the Will McDonald might be the pick here. A lot of people are hyping him up. Chris Sims had him above this guy right here, at number 3, which is insane because Will Anderson is better in every single way. But the fact that he, a full-fledged analyst considered him better makes me think he might go a little bit higher than this. Obviously, not all of them are right, but they usually get a couple of things right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So regardless if the 2 guys below him were not better than Will Anderson, this guy might be. And I think that's going to be the pick. Will McDonald. I don't know much about him, to be real with you, but he had solid production when I looked at his stats, and his tape is probably pretty good considering he's a first-round talent. Philly. This is where I usually have Robinson or Branch going, but, he's up here at 14, and Robinson went to Buffalo at 27 in this scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Philly take... I want to take tackle. Well, I think they already have their... This is tough. This is tough. I think they already took their center for the future. Was it last year? I think Kelsey picked him out too. So I don't know if they're gonna take that, but tackle's interesting. They already have 2 guys there, but you never know. I guess depth is good, but usually you don't want to take tackle depth in the first round. I think passing up on Zay Flowers might be a mistake, but they already have A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and I don't know if they'd really need a third guy like that. We had them taking corner. You know what? Let's go Mozzie Smith. That interior D-line, you have Fletcher Cox for another year or so. I think the deal was 1 year. But that's probably it for him. And I think Mozzie Smith can fill in the gap and learn from him. Great player. Beware of Michigan defensive players, obviously, but lately they've been pretty good. Rashawn Gary. We haven't seen much of Daxton Hill, but I feel like he'll be good. He's starting this upcoming season, so. Chiefs. Chiefs are so good everywhere, they could take anything. I've had a Will McDonald here a lot. But, I hate this. Zay Flowers, the Chiefs right here. Yeah, no way. And Zay Flowers will go earlier than this, but one of the receivers will fall. I just don't know who it is. Zay Flowers. All right, and that'll do it for my mock draft. This was a bit random compared to my last ones, but that's how the draft goes anyways. Hendon Hooker at 20. If it happens, I called it. And that'll be all. I'll see you next time for well, the next mock, the next something. See ya.